Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Orange County Industrial Development Agency meeting for March 18th, 2026, and the time is 5:33. I'd ask Bill to do the roll call, please.
Sure. Jeffrey Chris.
Here.
Dean Tamburri.
Here.
Lee Benton.
Here.
Linda Muller.
Here.
Mark Green.
Here.
Giovanni Palladino.
Here.
Dr. Vincent Odock.
Here.
7 of 7 members present. Staff, Bill Fioravanti, Kelly Riley, Marty Varas, Kate and Jones on AV. Our General Counsel Rudy Zoda is here, and we have our State Monitor Brian Sandridge. That is everyone. And we will have a guest shortly, Melissa Zott from PKF O'Connor Davies, our auditor. She's on her way.
Thank you, Bill. We do have proof of notice of this meeting on page 2 of our packets. And I would like to explain our change in sequence tonight from normally starting with the Orange County Funding Corp meeting and then moving to the Orange County IDA meeting. But the reason for that change in sequence is, as Bill just mentioned, our accountant auditor from PKF O'Connor Davies is late. She's due in approximately 20 minutes. But we're able to carry on other parts of the IDA meeting before she gets here. I'm getting to that, yep. So with that, unless there's any questions from the board, we'll proceed with the IDA meeting, and I'd like to initiate that process with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For our minutes, next item of business starts on page 3. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve? By Mark, second. Doc Odock, thank you. Any comments, corrections? We good? I'll call the motion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried.
Jeff, I'm abstaining.
I'm also abstaining,
Okay.
I wasn't at the meeting.
Sorry about that. Giovanni and Linda abstain.
Thank you.
And the motion still carries. On the chairman's report, one of the big efforts by the IDA and staff has been the audit and then the Paris report. We're closing in on both of those nicely. We'll be discussing them throughout parts of this meeting. I would like to sincerely thank the staff, Bill and Kelly and Marty, for your efforts there. I know it's been some challenging components there. I think we're coming out in a very nice spot. Thank you to the audit committee for a meeting, what was that, 2 weeks ago?
Last Wednesday.
Week, 2 weeks.
Okay, whenever it was, for reviewing that audit as well.
Last week? Yeah.
2 weeks.
Was it 2 weeks ago? Okay. Sorry. That flies.
Bill has a very detailed CEO report, so I'd like to move on to his report, and there's some things I would emphasize there. But Bill, please.
Sure, I did have a more detailed printed report that you have, just highlight a few things. Tomorrow, we do have a big day for our EPA Brownfields Assessment Grant. First of all, the Region 2 EPA Administrator, Michael Martucci, Orange County's own, former state senator. He is now heading up the region for EPA. He's joining us for this presentation, which is great. He's also going to join us before that, starting at 1 p.m. in Newburgh. We're going to do a tour of 4 brownfield sites that we are assessing. So we're leading Mike Martucci, his team, some of our stakeholders on that tour. So that starts at 1 o'clock. There'll be 4 sites in the region tomorrow. And then at 4 p.m. at the Orange County Emergency Services Center, the 911 Center on Wells Farms Road in Goshen, we'll have our presentation to the public. We have a lot of elected officials there, municipal leaders, Orange County legislators, county government folks. It's really kind of our first meeting where we're trying to explain to our closer stakeholders what this is all about, why we're doing it, what brownfields are, what the opportunities are, why the IDA is investing in this, the time and leveraging, you know, grant towards it, as part of our Shovel Ready initiative. So it's important. It's our first public meeting. Again, starts with the tour at 1 o'clock. Still room if you want to join us, or 4 o'clock at the 911 center. So looking forward to that. Can't wait to report afterward to you. I wanted to mention the Paris reporting as well. A lot of thanks to Julie Marshall from Harris Beach Bertha, who is our consultant on the Paris piece. She does a tremendous job. She works seamlessly with Marty and Kelly, and of course, can't say enough about the work that they've done. It's a crucial time, real crunch time, pressure packed, especially when we don't get timely responses to some of our projects. So we've had to really hammer on them. We got some answers yesterday in order to complete the audit and complete the Paris report. So I think what we're gonna do next year is look at who have been our naughty list, and we have certainly some repeat offenders. And I'm gonna have to reach out to them early next year and say, we've had this $2,500 fine in place. We have not levied it. I've threatened it with a lot of people to get them to act immediately. But I'm gonna warn them in advance that if you're past the deadline, which by the way, was February 9th this year. So there's really no excusing it. And we put it in our confirmation letter that goes out at the beginning of the year, stating that fine and that when the deadline is. Marty sends out plenty of reminders, then I jump on the list and I start sending reminders. So I feel it was worse than usual this year, but again, completely on the applicants on the project. So just a handful of them, but not acceptable. We need to get ahead of that.
When's the date of the first email you send?
We send a letter out, is it early January? Is it early? It's January, right? Yeah.
If I may make a recommendation,
Sure.
maybe send it out, you know, happy holidays, preparation, maybe do it like December 15th or something. And
You were waiting on by that time?
No, we used to do it in December, and then Julie said not to because no one's reading emails in December, and a lot of them don't have their reporting information until January.
Well, no, what I meant was saying, hey, in preparation for the new year, please realize this is your deadline. And, you know what I mean? And this way at least you can start paving the road. That would be my only suggestion, is to at least say, you know, please, we had some issues last year, be prepared, you know, we will be enforcing this fine, if you don't get your stuff in by February 9th. So please, if you have any concerns, get in touch with us immediately. That would be my recommendation.
Okay.
I mean, even if only 1 out of 10 read their thing, at least you're getting it to somebody, and you can refer back to it and say, well, and we've already emailed you, so.
Okay. So next thing. Hi, how are you? You here for the IDA meeting?
Yes.
Sure, you guys, could you sign in for us, please? And then please have a seat, be comfortable, thanks. Okay, what else? We are, I did attend the Artificial Intelligence Summit at Mount St. Mary College last week. It was put on by the county. They did a really nice job. They had a humanoid robotics demonstration. They had a number of panel discussions, keynote speaker. I thought it was great. I have a little summary that I'm printing out that I'll share with everyone, so you have that in the interest of time. Also, I think I'll end with this. We're gonna have to move our May meeting because it's May 20th and we just got the date for our New York State EDC annual meeting, which is in Cooperstown. Jeff and I will both be at that. So it does conflict with it, so we're gonna have to move that either a week earlier, a week later. Just wanna give you a heads up, I'll be in touch with everyone about that. Okay, I follow up individually with you all to make sure it works for everyone. Jeff, that's all I've got at the moment.
Any questions for Bill on this report? Thank you for the detailed report, a lot of things covered there, Bill. Moving on to Audit Committee. Lee, as chairman, please.
Thank you, sir. Actually, for anyone who watched the meeting or attended, it was very uneventful. It was very straightforward and no issues whatsoever presented.
Excellent, and I think
And then everybody has the draft minutes.
yes, and I think the committee recommended approval by the board, acceptance by the,
I think we did not do that
No,
because
because it wasn't final. It was
Oh,
only
okay.
draft.
It wasn't
Right.
final, right.
Okay.
And because the PCAP will present it directly. to the-
Okay, so we have to wait for that part of the
We do.
Yes.
process. Any questions for Lee at this point? Thank you, Lee.
You're welcome.
Moving on to Finance Committee. Mark Green, please.
We have several things that are gonna, I think, meld into new business. Going through, I apologize, I don't know what page it is on your packet. Let's call it page 8,
For financials?
for financials.
Yes, that's correct.
Yep, AJ.
You know, some, I think Giovanni will be thrilled with this, if you, page 8, keep going one more. If you look down, we actually had a very nice, revenue income of $225,000, that Bill and Lino, closed from, an existing, if you wanna call it client. So that was a very nice, revenue, increase. Of course, I have to point out that, I think we should have just had them forward the check right to Anshin and pay off the $250,000 a year fee that they charge us. But nevertheless, wonderful news, and thank you for them. You can see a pass-through cost of $10,000 and such for Brownfield. That syncs up perfectly about 3/4 of the way down. It's simply a pass-through cost, so you'll see that as both revenue as we get the reimbursement and the expense down below. And then certainly, you know, spending money on legal fees and such, consulting fees that you can see in the middle. And then that really was it for those financials. We reviewed the vendor expenses and all seemed in line with what we were expecting. And then we do have a CD that's coming due tomorrow. So we are going to roll over $2.5 million plus roughly $50,000 in interest into a T-bill, 9-month T-bill that'll generate 3.5% interest return. I would say that's my report for now, but then we have to get into the, do you want me just to roll into the new business financials?
Please.
So, we started as a committee to look at the financials, and there were bills that had not been paid, particularly for October and November, from Anshin, located at 3 Times Square in Manhattan. Quite honestly, I had gone through with Bill the October and November billing from Anshin at 3 Times Square in Manhattan, and found that a lot of the billing was suspect, to say the least. Bill and I prepared what I thought was a very simple request to Anshin at 3 Times Square in Manhattan. And quite frankly, many of the answers were, I don't even know the correct adjective, maybe pathetic, awful, embarrassing. So as a committee, we went through line by line on the Anshin bill. And we, from their October bill, which I think they wanted to bill us $29,881.25. We came up with $9,537.50 in appropriate fees that we are agreeing to pay. We will not pay that other $20,000 plus until we get what I think would be rather simple answers, especially from a firm that supposedly specializes in proper accounting. I think it's laughable that the quote-unquote state overseer from Anshin at 3 Times Square in Manhattan is supposedly a certified fraud examiner. And this accounting, if we sent this out, we probably would be getting recommendations from this firm about how poor our accounting is. And yet, this is what they provided, and they give responses like, we will not answer based on confidentiality. So again, to all the people out there, I want to make sure you understand what's going on here. You get a bill from your power company, and it seems high, and you look through the itemized items and say, gee, why am I getting charged $50 and it just says meeting? And then you call up that power company and they say, shut up and pay it. And then when you say, well, that doesn't seem fair to me. Oh, okay, fine. We're gonna have our lawyers call you and we're gonna do lawfare on you, and now you can pay 4 times what we were originally gonna bill you. That's what's going on in this situation. It is horrific as to what Anshin thinks. Anshin at 3 Times Square in Manhattan thinks they can do. Shut up, pay our bill, pay us our $250,000 a year, and we're going to give you answers like, that's confidential, we're not going to tell you. So, the October bill, we are going to ask that you authorize to pay $9,537.50 out of their original $29,000 and change. Their November bill was over $30,000, and we could only find reasonable payment on $9,748.38. Until we get answers to these pathetic descriptions, embarrassing descriptions, we will not pay another cent. To Anshin, to Brian Savage, to Anshin at 3 Times Square, Manhattan, the Orange County IDA ATM is officially closed. And you should be embarrassed, but you don't even know what to be embarrassed. So I'm asking the board to approve all the other financials outside of Anshin's bill, and to only approve the 2 monthly payments to Anshin of $9,537.50 and $9,748.38.
Any comments, questions for Mark from the board?
Mr. Chair, I just have one comment. First, I'd like to thank the chairman for the work that he did on the financials. And I'd like to remind all of us that the monitor has a responsibility to do certain tasks and watching what our organization does or doesn't do. I believe to this point we haven't found anything but recommendations on how things might be done differently, but nothing of any consequence. Bills that have been submitted that are outside the scope of what should be done by Manchin, I think are outrageous, and I agree fully with our chair that we need further explanation about what those are. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Giovanni?
Mark, thank you for doing this. I just want to make sure that our monitor is held at the same standard that we're held at. That's it. End of story.
Joke. That's a joke.
I might suggest, based on the order of our new business agenda, we accept the February 2026 financials, and we'll take a separate motion for February, March payables. Does that make sense, Rudy?
That's fine, yes.
Would anyone care to make a motion to approve the February 2026 financials? And maybe you said it, Mark, and I missed it, but the committee recommended that we approve those.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Giovanni, second to that motion. Duck, thank you. Any other questions, concerns on that motion? And this would be for approval of the February 2026 financials. Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried, thank you. Now for the approval of the February and the March 2026 payables, which I would suggest that motion recognize the October and November Anshin payments, as Mark so stated, what the committee recommended the board approve. Would anyone care to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Giovanni, second to that motion.
I'll second it.
Linda, thank you. Any questions, clarifications on what we're approving? Are you good with that, Bill? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. And Mark, did you complete your commentary on the CD? I know you said we would roll it over. The committee recommended 9 months.
I said that, but it does need to be approved, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. So I would ask for a motion that the CD that matures here in how many days? What's today? Yeah, about
Tomorrow.
5 days.
So move.
Very good for 9 months. Would someone like to make that motion?
So
Oh,
move.
you so moved. Okay, good. Thank you, Lee. Second
You're
to
welcome.
that motion?
I'll second.
You good, Dean?
Yeah.
Any further questions there? And again, the committee recommended we roll it over accordingly. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. And that brings us down to, I think, the financial audit for 2025.
Great, and I will introduce Melissa Zah. She's a partner at PKF O'Connor. She's been heading up our audit for 3 years now, I believe, doing a tremendous job. So I told her being late, she got a pass for this one because she's been amazing for 3+ years, truly. So we appreciate her, and I'm handing out the presentations now, but without further ado,
Thank you.
please,
Appreciate it.
all yours.
Welcome, Melissa.
Thank you.
Floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Again, I'm sorry for the mix-up in the time. So what we have here today is just a presentation that we're going to go over. It's going to be this orange document. I'll focus on the orange document on today's presentation. So if we go to the first slide. So we're just going over some required communications. We have the income statement for you, as well as the balance sheet, and then I'm going to list out the investments as well. So on the required communications, the next slide, management and those who are charged with governance, which is the board, has certain responsibilities as part of this external audit process. Selecting and implementing appropriate accounting policies, making sure the financial statements that have been issued are presented in accordance with the United States generally accepted accounting principles. Establishing and maintaining internal controls. Controls are really important in any organization, so ensuring that there's proper checks and balances. Compliance with all of your laws and regulations, any contracts that are entered into, and then providing all of the financial records and all of the information that we request as auditors. I just really want to give a big thank you to Bill, Kelly, Marty, and Shannon. It's a lot of back and forth, so I just really appreciate all the effort that they put in. Okay. Not only do we have certain responsibilities, or we also have certain responsibilities. We form and express an opinion. So in the reports that you have in front of you, we have issued an unmodified opinion that's sometimes referred to as a clean opinion, and it is the best opinion that the agency could receive. We issue a yellow book report, which is a report on controls, an investment report, which is a report on your cash and investments that you have. We are also required to communicate any deficiencies in internal controls that we identify as part of this external audit process. We're happy to report that there were no material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies, so happy to report that. We do review the accounting policies and we advise of the appropriateness. Any fraud or illegal acts that were identified would have been communicated to you prior to today. We're happy to report that there were no such incidents. We did not counter any significant difficulties. There were no uncorrected misstatements and no disagreements with management. And most importantly, we do maintain auditor independence as part of this external audit. So next we'll go over the income statement on the next slide. So this is going to be a list of the operating revenues of the agency at December 31st, 2025. The first part is going to be your charges for services here. The first item is your closing fees. That was about a little over 11,000. That was related to the closing fee for the Royal Wine Corp. Phase 2. Next is your management administration fees. That's about 90,000 there. That would be the allocation of fees from the funding corporation. So we'll see when we go over the funding corporation, you'll see that there's gonna be an expense associated with that. The next item is your application fees. That came in at about $17,500. The agency did have 7 applications that came through. It's about $2,500 each. So that related to those fees. The next revenue item is your administrative fees. That was $15,000. There was a labor monitoring penalty fee, as well as some fees related to the easements. You had a little bit of other income of $9,200. Those are small miscellaneous items. And then this year you did have federal aid. It is the first year of the federal aid. You did receive a Environmental Protection Agency brownfields grant, so an EPA grant. That grant in total was about $500,000, but it is a reimbursable grant. So we can only recognize the revenue for the associated expenditures that were spent to date. So this number, you'll continue to see federal aid as you continue to spend down that grant. The next item is your non-operating revenues. So you did have interest income of $380,000 this year. The agency had 4 CDs that matured during the year and 1 treasury bill that matured. And then at fiscal year end, you also had 2 CDs and 1 treasury bill, so we do accrue interest for that as well. Okay. Next, on the next slide, we'll go over the operating expenses. So these are a full detailed list of all of the operating expenses. I'm only going to cover a few of them. We did meet with the audit committee and we talked in detail about everything that happened, so I appreciate the audit committee's time as well. So the largest item here is going to be your payroll and your payroll taxes and benefits, or your second largest. That would be the salaries associated with the agency. And then your benefits would include health and dental, workers' comp, and payroll tax, that kind of thing. Your largest is going to be your professional fees, about $536,000. That's made up of a couple different items. You have payments to Anshin, the New York State Monitor, was about $215,000 in that amount. You also had legal counsel expenditures, and then included in the professional fees, that is where the expenditure for that EPA brownfield grant is located. So we saw the revenue side earlier, that's where the expenditure is located. And then bookkeeping and audit fees are included. You do have some advertising fees for marketing services, telephone utilities. Those are normal expenditures associated with any agency. And then interest is specific to the lease interest that you have for the building, and then depreciation and amortization. So you ended the year, even though you had a net loss of $612,000, you still ended the year about $8.8 million. If we go to the balance sheet, here we have your assets and liabilities as well as your breakout of your net position. You can see that you have about almost 8.5 in investments, which we'll go to on the next page. You have some accounts receivable. Here's the accrued interest that I talked about. So the interest income on those investments does hover over both years. So that's the interest related to 2025. You do have a small amount of prepaid expenses, but you also have capital assets. That includes office furniture, fixtures, cameras, that kind of thing. Next, you have your liabilities, your accounts payable. You do have some amounts owed to Anshin, as well as some miscellaneous legal expenses. Your escrow liabilities would match what's included in the cash piece. So you do have money associated with those escrow pieces. The non-current liabilities here, the $56,000 is what is going to be due in the upcoming year, and then beyond that is $78,000. This is related to the lease for the building, so it is considered partial short-term, partial long-term. And then last we have your net position. There's a small portion of the net position associated with capital assets, so $35,000. Essentially, that's your capital assets less your long-term liability, lease liability. And then your unrestricted is really broken out into 2 different designations. The designated piece of 500,000 is included in your 2026 budget for the shovel-ready program. So we like to set that aside, so you know that that's the intended spending amount. And then the remaining piece is undesignated. So even though you have 8.8, you have 8.3 in undesignated. And then I just wanted to provide you the investments on the next slide. As I mentioned, you have 2 certificate of deposits held.
Sorry,
That's okay.
I'm trying to get it right.
And 1 treasury bill. So the certificates of deposits are being held. This one, the 4.7 million is held at about 3.88%, and the 2.5 is about 4.03%. So still good rates with the market that we're seeing now. And so we accrued the related accrued interest. So that does conclude my presentation on the agency, but I'm willing to take any questions.
Questions for Melissa?
I would just like to say thank you to the team again
Thank
for
you.
all your efforts,
Appreciate that.
as well as our office that was working with you with all that you needed
Yes,
to accomplish while you were here to get it done.
thank you.
Well said, Lee, thank you.
And certainly, thank you to everybody. So I don't quite understand, I certainly know what a CPA is. What's a CGMA?
Well, it's a Chartered Global Management Accountant. So it's an additional certification that helps me understand more of the managerial side of accounting.
Interesting. Do you ever do any work with fraud?
I have assisted in a forensic audit a couple of months, I think last year. It was a municipal forensic audit, so my experience is solely in municipalities.
Okay.
Anything else? I would suggest we entertain a motion for the approval of the 2025 financial audit for the Orange County IDA. Anyone care to make that? Doug, thank you. Second to that motion? Dean, thank you. Any other discussion, questions? I think Melissa covered it very nicely,
Thank you, appreciate that.
and a very positive audit, I would say.
Yes.
I'll call the question. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Motion carried. Thank you, Melissa. I think you're sticking around for funding court.
Yes.
We have one more agenda item that I'm aware of for the IDA, and that would be the Paris report. Bill, you'll discuss?
Yes, you understand the Paris report, exactly what it's about. If you don't have full understanding, fortunately for you, we have a training coming up on Monday, March 23rd, just next Monday. I know some people can't make it, you're not the only one, Giovanni, so don't feel badly. We're gonna, well, I don't mean to call you out, but I see you agonizing over there. It's no sweat. We are gonna do a separate a Zoom for people that can't make it. Just, of course, it can only be 3 members or less. We can't have a quorum. So you'll understand exactly what goes into the Paris report, exactly how it is compiled, the information you can find, what else you can glean from it. But this has all of the agency's critical information that goes to.
Everybody has a copy, right?
Yeah, right, everyone has it, yeah, yeah. So it goes to the authority's budget office, our annual reporting, of course, we upload our budget as well, earlier in the year, when that's ready. And it also has information for all of our active projects, so we have over 30 active projects, and you'll see their latest numbers, job, figures, investment, et cetera, pilot payments made, all of that. So that's in there, compiled by the work that Marty and Kelly do to bring the information together, and then actually, put together in the report form by Julie Marshall. So, this is important. It needs to be approved by the board before it can be uploaded to the ABO Paris system by March 31st. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we're looking for your approval.
Anybody care to make that motion?
I just got a question.
Yes.
On page 14, what is conduit? What does that mean? It's conduit debt and then conduit
I
debt.
think that's all bonds. We've had this before. I think it's through our bonds is what that is, conduit
Okay.
financing.
Just never heard of it before. If that's what it is, that's fine.
This is what is this?
Because he's looking at this.
Yep, yeah, I'm seeing it. It's not bonds because that's OCFC. It has to do with our pilots, but we don't have a PIF. And this isn't specific to, Lee, I gotta get you that answer.
No problem at all, that's all.
Could it be Bill,
That's come up
Tuxedo
before.
Place? It's a bond under IDA.
Oh, under ID8 might be that. You might be right. Let me verify it. I'll verify it for you though.
Okay,
For
that's
sure.
fine.
It's showing it didn't change during the year,
Yeah,
remember.
I'll verify that.
That's fine.
Any other questions?
Are we still good to do a motion, recognizing this answer still needs to come?
Sure.
Yeah, that should be
I
fine.
think we can.
Would anyone care to make that motion? Mark, to approve the 2025 Paris report for the Orange County IDA. Second to that motion? Dean, thank you. Any other questions, comments? I'll call the question. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried for the Paris report. And is there any other business that needs to come before the Orange County IDA this evening? We good?
Yeah, we're good on the idea, yep.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. By Lee, second by Giovanni. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We're adjourned on the Orange County IDA at 6:09 PM. March 18th. Thank you.